Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing some standard best of one with a sweet new deck. It's going to be a Simic ramp deck built around the brand new Vivien Planeswalker, Vivien on the Hunt. 6 mana for loyalty, legendary Planeswalker of course. The +2 says you may sacrifice a creature, and if you do, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value, and put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You can also +1 to mill 5, and then return any number of creature cards milled this way to your hand. And then the -1 creates a 4/4 green Rhino creature token to protect Vivien if you need to. This deck's sweet, this card is sweet, and yeah, it's a really cool build around. So we're really mainly building around the +2 to sacrifice and turn one creature into a slightly bigger creature. But the mill 5 here is going to be really good as well, because the almost the entirety of our deck, barring the lands of course, are creatures. So even some of our lands are creatures, because we got Glasspool Mimic and Florahedron. The Fading Hope's only in the early game, I think, are the only thing, and I guess other Viviens that Vivien won't -2. So there's a lot of chance of the +1 just being a draw 5 cards kind of spell, which is pretty sweet if you're not dead. That's kind of a little bit of the issue with this deck. It does struggle a little bit with early game aggression. I've noticed we do have a lot of big toughness creatures though, in things like Jewel Thief, a 3 mana 3/3 Vigilance Trample that makes a treasure token, so it's a ramp source for us. And the Quandrix Cultivator as well, another 3/4 that gets us a basic forest or island and puts it onto the battlefield untapped, which is huge. We got the Innkeepers as well, which will give us a little bit of life gain whenever our creatures enter the battlefield, so just stems the bleeding a little bit on the early game if we can do a little bit of catch up there. Creates a treasure, so it ends up being a ramp source, so it's really nice for us there. We got the Reclusive Taxidermist as well, which is a really nice mana dork for ramp decks like this, and especially one that has a Vivien that's milling constantly. The 2 mana 1/2 can add 1 mana of any colour, so it's a really good 2 mana mana dork. But also, if there are 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, then it becomes a 4/4. So this is a 2 mana 4/4 in the late game, so it's a sizable threat when the ramp side of this card no longer matters. We've also got Mirror Hall Mimic and Glasspool Mimic, as we've kind of mentioned, which can become copies of any creature on the battlefield. These are only under our control, but Mirror Hall Mimic can be a copy of anything. So we can steal our opponent's best creature, so we don't have to run any of our own good creatures. That doesn't mean that we're not doing that, though. If Mirror Hall Mimic would die, though, we can disturb it for 5 mana to stick this aura on a creature, and at the beginning of our upkeep, we create a token of the enchanted creature, except for it's a spirit in addition to its other types. So every turn we create a copy of a creature that we are disturbing. Fun fact, if we choose to, we can actually +1 to mill 5 cards and leave Mimic in the graveyard. We wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but the option is there anyway, if that might be the case. We also have Kiri, the Swirling Sky. This is again to kind of stem the bleeding of early game aggression, because when this card dies, it's going to allow us to return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value of 6 or less to their owner's hands. So things like the Anvil decks that have got a lot of 0 mana permanents, a lot of tokens and things like that, it's going to completely clean theirs up. You might be asking, well, on 6, what you're really going to be doing with this card as far as getting it killed? Well, we can legend rule it with itself, because we've got 2 copies. We can create a copy of it with the Mimic or the Glasspool Mimic to do that legend ruling as well. We can also turn this 6 mana creature into a 7-drop Titan of Industry using Vivien on the Hunt's ability. So that's a really nice use of the Polymorph ability there as well, a forced death trigger, which is quite fantastic. We do have some Mind Flayers, so we're going to be able to steal our opponent's creatures, and once we've stolen them, we can make copies of them with the Mimic and the Mirror Hall Mimic as well in that regard. Titan of Industry can put shield counters on things, so it can put a shield counter on the Mind Flayer to stop it from dying to removal spells. There are a fair few that could kill Mind Flayer, so it's not as free as it might appear. There's a lot of things that kill it, so you want to make sure that you're not too worried about losing your Mind Flayer and whatever you've stolen. For that reason, Fading Hope in the late game could also be used to protect your Mind Flayer. And also, if you just steal your opponent's creature and then sack it to Vivien on the Hunt, then you don't have to worry about what this is controlling anymore, because you can use your opponent's creatures to polymorph into some of your own, which is awesome. We do have Averbrook Caretaker and Torvalar's Huntmaster in here as 6-drop targets. I think these are both pretty sweet. Huntmaster sees a lot of play right now in like Winota decks and Explorer, and a fair bit of play in Standard, I think, at some point. Back when Wolves were a thing, it was a top-end piece. I don't know if it is anymore, but enters the battlefield as a 6/6 that creates 2/2/2 Wolf creature tokens. Then if it becomes Night, you can use it to start fighting off Wolves with other creatures that you don't control, which is pretty cool. Also, the Averbrook Caretaker, putting counters on creatures we control, has hexproof, by the way, so it's really annoying to deal with. It puts us out of like Meat Hut Massacre range, which is definitely too well shown right now in the format. It's very annoying. So having that ability on the Huntmaster side of this card, which puts a 2+1/+1 counters on each creature you control, can help you get out of range of Meat Hut Massacres, and certainly help make it not as easy for Meat Hut Massacre to sweep away. Having all the high toughness stuff in our deck, though, definitely makes us a little bit more resistant to that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's really all I'm going to say upon the deck. Hopefully the gameplay will showcase it quite nicely. If you do enjoy today's content, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, a slow hand. Probably means I've got to throw it back. This deck honestly struggles with early game aggression so badly that I don't really think this is a good idea. This looks like the same hand with the same problems, but then we'd be going down to 5. Yeah. Grumble, grumble, keep. Alright, let's make sure I've at least got 3 mana, so let's go Glasspool Shore. I make sure that I at least don't stumble on my 3rd land. Let's go Green Source. And then we can play Jewel Thief. Got an Innkeeper. Is Innkeeper better? I suppose it doesn't make too much of a difference, so... When it's on a Naya deck, and looks like the game's crashed. Innkeeper too strong confirmed. Oh yeah, it's crashed alright. Back in a sec, guys. Alright, we're back in. A Fable of the Mirror Breaker was played, and we drew what appears to be a land, so there's that. I'm gonna go Jewel Thief. And create treasure, gain a life, and pass the turn. This puts us on Vivien next turn for the Jewel Thief into a 4-drop, which could be either a Mirror Hall Mimic or a Quandrix Cultivator. Don't care too much for the Mimic, because I already have one in hand. It can be a copy of any creature on the board, though, so we'll see. I could copy their Kiki-Jiki, I guess. A transformed enchantment. Or I could make that. That I might actually just Mind Flay, though. Mind Flaying, that seems like a good idea. Yeah, I think so. Or do I want to wait until Fable flips and then Mind Flay that? I guess that might actually be the better idea. So we're going to go Fleetfoot Dancer. We're going to attack with it, because we don't really care too much about the swing back at the moment. We're actually going to turn the Dancer, I think, post-combat into a Mind Flayer, perhaps. Or just play one. It's one or the other. I guess with the Fleetfoot Dancer in play, it's a little bit harder to... Ooh, good to see the Strangle going off now. A little bit harder to protect the Vivien. Well, let's hope that they don't have another Strangle. That would be awkward. we wouldn't really find out until it was too late. So we're going to Mind Flay your reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Lovely. Can swing, swing. If they're going to kill Mind Flayer, it's going to be through, like, hard damage anyway, so... If they kill it, we Vivien turn the dancer into a Mind Flayer, take it back. Vorinclex. That's really good for me? No, because there's no real ult on Vivien, so it's not that good for me. I was going to say, we can Mind Flayer steal Vorinclex. Oh, actually, no, we can Mind Flayer... Oh, baby. Yeah, copy Mind Flayer. Steal Vorinclex. Play Vivien, who has twice the counters. Not that that's relevant. However, polymorph your 6-drop into a Titan Industry. Shield counter on a creature I control. Make a 4/4, I guess. Shield counter on the Mind Flayer that's keeping the Kiki-Jiki around. 12 counters on my Vivien. You love to see it. Alright, so we can oh, I should have attacked him with my token Mind Flayer as well. We can basically do that every turn now, unless they kill their own Kiki-Jiki. They need it off the board. So that's just going to be game, really, for a while, I would think. Vela Marcus. Alright. That is Fading Hoped. No reason to find out what that could find. And yep, scoops it up. We could either steal their creature and push through. Ah yes, good old Arena. Out of beta, by the way. We could either Reflection, Mind Flayer, Steal Dancer, swing in with the entire crew. I think that might actually just do it. Or we could make another Titan Industry. That could swing in for 7 as well. It's hard to say. What would Vivien be doing? I guess maybe going for the +1 to draw potentially 5 cards. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, this was a really sweet showing for the deck. And on to the next one. Alrighty then, opponent goes first. We've got 2-drop, 3-drop, and we got our Vivien. Alright, if this Vivien doesn't do anything with a hand that looks like this, I don't know what we're going to do. Ooh, okay, mono red. Could be a bit of a difficult one. We're going to need our innkeepers. Hello. I acknowledge your existence. Okay. And Javelineer. So I'm gonna, I think, let the Guide Beast deal its damage. And bounce, I guess, the Rabbit Battery? Scribe. Innkeeper. Lovely. So the Guide Beast bounces lands back, so I'm really hoping that that's going to slow our opponent down. Just a teeny tiny little bit. You deal 1 damage to creature blocking it. I think that still means I go Taxidermist though, because it blocks Rabbit Battery. And then Jewel Thief can do some nonsense after that. Working our way towards the Cultivator as a 3/4. It's definitely going to be a 2-for-1, I think. Yeah, I have a hard time seeing how they deal with my, like, 4 toughness creatures if they keep attacking with Guide Beast. Okay. That's pretty good. Again, though, they go back to 2 mana next turn if they attack him with the Guide Beast, so... We go down to 12, they go back to 1 mana. And I get a Jewel Thief. So there'll be a 2-for-1 here, probably. I mean, there's a chance they can do 3 damage. It'd be really bad if they could. There is a... was it Strangle? Voltaic Surge, kill one of their own creatures. Alright, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. So, play Rabbit Battery, hit me for 4 again. Bounce a land. We play Cascade. So this into Cultivator would gain me some life, so we're going to do that. We're not really going to need the treasures as such next turn. I think the 1 point of life is actually more relevant here. Grab a forest, because we have triple green requirements. Up to 9. And a decent board state. Could turn the Cultivator into a Mind Flayer, but I think that'll probably be a bad idea. Interesting. Alright, so... maybe a Play with Fire to finish off here. Oh! That's cruel and awful. Okay. Vivien then. Mill 5, or do we want to make a Rhino token?
I like it.
I think we're milling 5, because I really honestly would just love, wow, to draw 5 cards. Is that really what just happened there? Put any number of cards milled this way into your hand. Okay, that's a thing that just happened. So we got 4, 5, 6. Untapped land would be ideal. Mind Flayer. Well, instead, I guess what I could do... I was going to say Kiri into Titan Industry, but we don't have 2. We only have the 1 in our deck. That actually makes it really awkward. Really awkward. I guess I could go again with the mill. But a Jewel Thief and a Mind Flayer this time. Not as great, but... still lets us go Jewel Thief. We're probably still dead. Cultivator. Grab a land. Play Hall. Yeah, if they've got a Play with Fire, I'm dead. Or any way to push through the extra little bit of damage. They're going to go for the blood token, discarding a land. And then here comes the swing. So let's block Rabbit Battery and 1 Javelineer. Let's make the Javelineer block like that. Down to 2. And dead. Ah, oh, come on! And to the top, because they like that card. Yeah, we just win that game with an Innkeeper. Rude. Or an untapped land as well. Untapped land would have won us the game. Because we could turn our 2-drop Florahedron into a Glasspool Mimic to copy the Titan of Industry. We could polymorph this into another Mimic to copy the Titan of Industry, and the game's just over. But they had the Play with Fire, and that's the game. Alrighty then, we play first. We've got no early game ramp, but we have a little bit of disruption to get us to where we need to be. I'm gonna keep it. I don't know if it's great though. Opponent's gonna mull. Some fancy sleeves. Very low res though. Maybe that's just the art style. I don't know. Oops, don't auto pass, thank you. So we can Fading Hope if I care, but we probably don't. Pathway on green, say go. I was hoping that we'd hit a 2-drop creature so that I could mimic that. It's got an Oni Cult Anvil. And passes. Alright, we are going very slowly here. And it's Cultivator next turn, I suppose. So there's a Synthesizer, which could be used to sack the Anvil. Or sack off the Anvil. To look for land drops and get tokens. I might actually bounce the token, as weird as that might sound. It gives me a scry. Sure. It also stops Anvil from just having a target. They've got to work for that a little bit better. Now I get to go Cultivator, get my triple green. And I've got Threat in play. I've got targets for Mimic. Another Synthesizer. Opponent's desperately looking for a land, it's quite clear. They found one. Maybe trying for an untapped land, it seems. Yeah, they got one. So untapped land into, what, like Blood Tithe Harvester, maybe? Shambling Ghast with the Surge. Voltage Surge open. Yep, sure. Could be worse. I think I'm going Cultivator again. This way I get Hold Up and Fading Hope and Ramp as well. Kiri seems like it's going to be really good in this matchup. Not going to lie. So something to note, this can only sacrifice artifacts, so it can't sacrifice Shambling Ghast, but our opponent can do a number of things anyway that make that not that relevant. Alright, so now I've got to deal with this nonsense.
I'm not afraid of any of you.
Uh-huh. So they might assume that that's going to... I'm going to decline. I'll take some damage for a while. They might assume that that's going to keep one of their Obnixilis alive. Which is incorrect, because I'm going to go boop. Definitely bottom the land here. Fortunately, I don't get to kill the token version, but I don't think it particularly matters. Because it still has the same mana value, so I'm just trying to think about Kiri doing anything relevant here. It is going to kill Obnixilis, though. So there is that, and I can Legend Rule it if I want to as well, with the Glasspool Mimic or the Spare Kiri. I can get blockers out the way with Mind Flayer. For now, I think I'm okay just taking damage.
And you'll lose everything.
So that's one Obnixilis down. Let's see if they go for another one. Can't sack it to the anvil. Ooh, we got Vivien on the hunt. Alright, that's pretty good. So let's guarantee a death here. I'm not going to give Shambling Ghast the opportunity to block, because that would give them a treasure token that then they could use with Anvil. Instead, I'm going to play Vivien here. I think I'm going to turn the Kiri into a Titan of Industry.
How we handle things in the wild.
I think I'm bouncing, right? I think I could also potentially just get back loads of Fading Hopes. That's what the other side is, right? Mill 6, return 2 instants. Yeah, so I could get 2 Fading Hopes, or I could bounce Anvil and Shambling Ghast, setting them a fair bit back, giving me a Titan of Industry, gaining me 5 life, and putting a shield counter on it, I suppose. And then after that, we just Glasspool Mimic it forever. Cultivator could become a Mind Flayer. Mind Flayer could steal one of their cards and then become any of my 6-drops. So Huntmaster, Averbrook Caretaker. I think I've got all the Kiris in my hand now. So yeah, there's a lot that Vivien could do from this point forward. She could also just mill 5 and draw me up to 5 creatures. That's also very welcome, honestly. If you mimic, throw that Disturb Mimic into play, then I could potentially have Kiri with that copy Disturb enchantment on it. So every upkeep, I make a copy that Legend rules from Kiri, and then that's just bounce until they deal with it. And Ward 3, with the amount of mana screw that they've got going on right now, seems like it would go quite a fair bit of distance. Like, their main removal source is Voltaic Surge, I would assume, and then just occasional pings here and there. Our only concern really would be Obnixilis just draining us, and we can discard cards forever, honestly, because of Vivien's card draw ability there. So yeah, pretty sweet. And on to the next one. Alrighty then, on the play, and yeah, it's ramp, ramp, ramp into Polymorph into whatever we want. So we're going to keep the crap out of this hand and hope for the best, really. See what our opponent's playing. They've got some nice dragon sleeves over there. Perhaps they're playing some dragon stuff. They are messing with their creature. Tap his crystal ball and he looks at me. It's like, don't you dare touch that anymore. Fair enough. I've got my fish. It's my favourite. His name is Stephen. Stephen the Rainbow Koi. Alright, so we're on Naya colours for our opponent. And they have a Strangle for my Taxidermist, which is not an issue at all, really, because I've got a Jewel Thief. So we're continuing to ramp here. Would love a land so that I can play Cultivator without using the treasure, but I will trade that treasure token for just a permanent land source and deck thinning. We got some Viviens, by the way, I don't know if you'd noticed. Another Strangle. Alright. Very controlling over there. Thrilling Discovery. Maybe this is like a Naya Reanimator list or something with Velamarcus. Yep, certainly is. Alright. Let's go Cultivator, and then we can turn Cultivator into a Mind Flayer or something like that, so I could steal their Velamarcus. That'd be quite fun. Probably should have got Blue Source there, actually. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but don't know if it'll matter too much. So if they play any kind of threat, this Cultivator is officially a Mind Flayer. They did just play 2 Strangles, so while that is a removal source for anything I'm worried about, just Restoration, okay. So I'm actually going to go for the mill draw, I think, here. If given the choice. Because obviously Mind Flayer is not going to do anything on this board. Not yet, anyway. Alright, well, we got a land. It's not exactly the land I would like, but it'll work. So let's mill 5.
It can thrive anywhere. Look around.
Draw 4.
Everywhere.
Some pretty good cards there, actually. So if they have the Invoke, they can make a Velamarcus that is quite large. But then I can steal it with Mind Flayer. Could steal it with Mind Flayer, sack my Mind Flayer, Polymorph into Kieri. They got a tap land, and there's the untapped land. So do they have the Invoke? Can't remember what its actual name is. It's like Invoke Calamity or Invoke Justice, that's the one. Alright, they got themselves a 9/9. Goodbye, Vivien. Strangle. Well, it can only hit the Cultivator, so it was a bad hit for them. That's 3rd Strangle out of the deck as well, so there's only 1 Strangle left. Could be like one of their only removal sources.
This doesn't mean I'm giving up.
I'm just wondering how we want to go about it. Do I want to Vivien to Polymorph, or do I want to just play the Mind Flayer? I could play Innkeeper into Mind Flayer. That would give me some life. I don't hate that idea. Could also turn the Innkeeper then into a Glasspool Mimic. So I'm going to take your Velamarcus Lawhold. Going to whiff, because I don't have any instants and sorceries in my deck at all. And they need to answer their own Velamarcus now, or my Mind Flayer. So if they have 4th Strangle, or an additional removal spell, Thrilling Discovery, going to dig for it. No, they didn't have it in hand. Going to draw 3, though. I've got Lethal in the air, so you're going to need to do something here. They could have the, Ooh, they did have it. Alright. So Velamarcus gets to hit me for 9. And reveal what? An Amiria's Call, that's brutal. Well, I get to turn my Cultivator into a Mind Flayer.
When I win, you're gonna stay out of my way. Nature adapts to
So I'll take back the law hold again. Force a trade. Getting a Fading Hope to kill one of the tokens as well. Definitely bottoming ramp. So I'm no longer dead on board if they can kill the Mind Flayer again. I think I'll just keep the Glasspool Mimic in my hand. So they have Cathartic Pyres and one more Strangle. Did they draw more of them? Fleetfoot Dancer. Well, they're dead if they don't do anything about the law holds. I'm just trying to think what I could do here to ensure that I win. I think it would be Kiri into Polymorph it. This way I'll bounce their board and get a Titan of Industry. That'll put shield counter on law holds. Actually, no, a shield counter on Mind Flayer. Actually gonna just bounce the Dancer, because that's lifelink. And then, yeah, pretty good. Alright. Yeah, why have our own threats when we could just repeatedly steal our opponents? Mind Flayer is such a weird card, because it's so fragile to a lot of things in the format, but if you can get it down and you can repeatedly use it, it doesn't really matter that your opponent keeps getting back the thing that you steal, because you just keep stealing it over and over again anyway. And yeah, if you can ever just like multi-copy it, then you're in a great spot. And Titan of Industry, being able to put a shield counter on it, basically giving it that protection that you need, is really nice as well. It's pretty sweet though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And without further ado, I'm going to end it off here. Take care and peace.